the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
This is from Margaret. In the Old Testament, why does God require animal sacrifice? But then God also says, I desire mercy and not sacrifice. You got to read the word in Hebrew. The word is chesed, I believe. I desire in mercy and not sacrifice. The word chesed, it can be translated grace. It can be translated love. It can be translated all sorts of ways. But Rabbi Lefkowitz said that chesed is doing more than the law requires. So that's what God is desiring. That in addition to sacrifice, we add this character of God that gives more than is necessary. So he isn't saying don't sacrifice. It used to bother me. The Bible seems not to say why God preferred Abel's sacrifice to Cain's. Abel's sacrifice was acceptable to God, and Cain's was not. Cain offered the produce of the land. Abel offered the produce of the flock. In other words, Abel offered an animal sacrifice. We read in the Psalms, summon to me the people who have made covenant with me by sacrifice. The general word for sacrifice in the Old Testament is korban, something that's dedicated to God. However, when the Psalm says, summon to me the people who have made covenant with me by sacrifice, the word is zabach, which means a blood sacrifice. It literally means slaughter. A blood sacrifice was necessary for ratifying a covenant. It was a symbolic act that said, may God do to me what has happened to this poor sheep if I break the covenant. So God makes covenant with us by a blood sacrifice. Cain wanted to make a contract with God. Abel wanted to make a covenant. What's the difference between a contract and a covenant? In a contract, I give you that you may give me. Covenant, I give you myself that you might give me yourself. Marriage, an institution that deals with physical intimacy. There are other relationships that deal with physical intimacy. Marriage is a covenant. It is unbreakable. The other institutions, he said, trying to be polite, the other institution which deals with physical intimacy is a contract. Once the money changes hands and the goods and services are rendered, the relationship is over. God does not do contracts. No matter how many candles you light, God is not impressed. The lighting of the candle is a beautiful symbol. No matter how many of the novenas you say, God is not impressed. The novenas are beautiful, a repetition of saying to God, we love you and we trust you. You get what I'm trying to say here? You can't bargain with God. When you encounter God, you have encountered someone who cannot be conned, cajoled, swindled. God, as I always say, has this problem. He thinks he's God. So when the text of Scripture says, I desire mercy, not sacrifice, it's not saying mercy as we understand mercy. He's desiring chesed, that quality of complete trust and dependence. You can't bribe me with sheep or with oxen. The sheep and the oxen have a symbolic meaning, but what I desire is your whole self in the covenant. If you're offering these things to get me to do something, forget it. If you're offering these things as a sign that you're giving me yourself, I'll accept that offering. That's what is meant by I desire mercy and not sacrifice. This entire episode of Father Simon Says is on the Relevant Radio app. The Relevant Radio app is completely free and updated daily with fresh articles, podcasts, and prayers. Don't delay. Download the app today, and thanks for listening.